Hello, beautiful. Today we will talk to you about the biggest problem women face. The cause of all failures, the cause of illness, premature aging, female displeasure, and dissatisfaction in bed. The cause of our poverty is just one thing. Seriously, it's the one and only reason: discontent with life. I talk about this quite often. I speak about it at webinars, online masterclasses, and seminars, and receive a tremendous amount of questions from women. And I want to give you the answers to these questions in this video so that you can finally get rid of this discontent with life and find eternal youth, beauty, happiness, and wealth. Interested? Then listen to this video until the end. Why does discontent with life and criticism from others have such a negative impact on all areas of our lives? The answer is very simple. The thing is, discontent and criticism are our emotional diseases. It's a disease of our emotions. To better understand it, let's compare it to a common physical illness. I believe that each of us has experienced the feeling of being physically unwell in one way or another. For example, a common cold or a virus. What happens to us during that time? We feel unwell, we sneeze and cough, our mucous membranes are affected, we have a runny nose, insomnia, headaches, a sore throat, and swollen glands. Sounds familiar? We have all had the flu at some point, and often someone else infected us with it. Well, a disease of the body is very similar to a disease of the emotions, except that all the same things happen to our emotions. Can you imagine that? Just as the body becomes inflamed and starts to expel all the toxins and negativity that arise within it during an illness, a virus settles in our body during sickness, and the organism begins to eliminate it and push it out. Right? The same thing happens with our emotions. If a virus settles in your emotions, meaning negativity, criticism, and discontent suddenly infiltrates you. How does this happen? We will discuss that shortly. But if this discontent remains inside, your emotional center will actively repel it, and you will expel negative emotions. Do you think people would enjoy being around you in such a state? I guess your beloved partner would say, "Darling, you look so charming when you criticize, contort your face like that, and get upset about everything I do. I love you." Of course not. When we have a disease of the emotional center, everyone turns away from us. People feel uncomfortable being around us and engaging in conversations. Constant conflicts and arguments arise with loved ones, at work, with colleagues and friends. If you have similar symptoms in your life, know that you may have already been infected with criticism and discontent. Seriously, dear ones, it's a very dangerous disease. And I'm not joking even one bit. An experiment was conducted at the University of Michigan's Social Sciences. People were divided into two groups. They were paid a huge amount of money, so they agreed to go through the entire experiment, which had simply horrific and shocking consequences on their lives. The first group of people had to react negatively to everything happening around them for a month. The weather was awful, the sun was scorching, the rain was despised for being wet and gloomy, the taxi driver arrived late, and the food was oversalted. In other words, they expressed discontent out loud about anything that happened in their lives. The second group of people, on the contrary, had to react positively to everything happening in their lives. It was like, finding joy in everything. However, the experiment was stopped after just a month. It was forcibly halted because the consequences were simply terrible. In the group where people were supposed to criticize everything and express discontent, 40% of them were fired from their jobs, and 60% experienced significant problems with their colleagues and overall professional performance. Several women were diagnosed with illnesses, and there was even a case of a cancer diagnosis. Can you imagine? 2 women reached a point where they contemplated suicide. They no longer wanted to live. These findings shocked the researchers so much that they immediately stopped the experiment, not allowing it to continue for the intended duration of 3 months. It is unknown what would have happened after the 3-month period. And, of course, in the positive group, you can imagine what occurred. Everything was the exact opposite. People received promotions at work. Several women even met their partners during this period, and within 6 months, 3 or 4 weddings took place thanks to that phase of their lives. Can you imagine? The experiment demonstrates that people who expel criticism from themselves primarily poison their own lives. However, this critical mindset, discontent, and negativity are also harmful to those around them. I'm not joking, my dear. It's a genuinely infectious emotional disease. If there are people around you who constantly criticize and are dissatisfied with everything happening around them, know that sooner or later they will infect you with this disease. You may have noticed that if a mother is critical, her daughter becomes grumpy and critical as well. At the very least, it certainly becomes more apparent as they age. Who is most likely to express discontent with life? Old women who sit and criticize everyone are constantly dissatisfied with everything. Is that right? Is it pleasant to be around them? No, in fact, most people would rather not pass by their benches, fearing that their poison might reach those individuals. Correct? On the other hand, there are elderly people who are very kind and content with themselves, and they evoke a desire to take care of them. Please remember, once and for all, that criticism and discontent with life that you manifest in this world make you sick, old, poor, and lonely.
Amulets and talismans. Amulet for children, partner, and parents. Express your love for them with this amulet. Register here.